Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the special city council meeting of October 15th, 2024, 5:30 p.m. We do have a quorum, so we're going to begin the meeting. Could I get a roll call, please?
We're starting the meeting. Thank you.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Vice Mayor Meyer is absent. Councilmember Orlemans.
Here.
Councilmember Pearson.
Present.
Mayor Bryant.
Here. Could you join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we will open public comments, and the comment period will be 5 minutes per speaker.
At this time, the public is permitted to address the City Council on the closed session agenda. If you're participating via Zoom, please raise your hand to speak. If you're in person, please file a speaker card with the city clerk. Your microphone will be muted if you speak on items that do not pertain to the closed session agenda or after the timer has expired. We did receive 3 written public comments in advance, and I will share that on the screen. The first speaker I have is Luke.
Good evening, members of the council, mayor, and city staff. My name is Luke Santos. I'm the president of the Brentwood Public Works Employees Association. I come here today to talk to you about ongoing contract negotiations. I want to talk about the Y rates, or now possible Z rates. If you use the COF study to follow what the findings were for the city of Brentwood employees in relation to the comparable agencies, you will see that the Brentwood staff, for the most part, are at or near the median. Most of my group has a few classifications that are just above the median, the highest being at 6.5% over the median. During the negotiation process, the city initially proposed for these positions to be Y-rated. And after a lot of back and forth, the most current proposed idea is now being referred to as a Z rate, meaning that all current staff retain their salaries and receive their cost of living adjustments. This sounds good at first, but at what cost to the future of the city? What about the future of these current employees' opportunities for growth and promotional opportunities in their field? Promoting to new positions that pay less than their coworkers who already hold these titles that take the same amount of talent, dedication, training, and education, causing a divided workforce instead of united. What about the future employees, future recruits we will need as these positions are vacated, to bring them in at a lesser rate than their colleagues and expect the same level of dedication, causing more divide within the workforce? Why should some make more than others? Recruiting and retaining candidates has already been hard. It's apparent that retaining has become more difficult in the recent past. As we are talking about positions that are just around the median, people want more than just the median. I say Y rates and Z rates are unprecedented and unacceptable. None of our comparable agencies are Y rating or Z rating their employees, especially when they're at the median level. Now I'd like to talk about some of the benefits. Also following the COF study, City of Brentwood has the worst benefit package of all comparable agencies. My group produced 16 proposals to try and address these benefits or lack thereof to try and help improve the benefit package. Things like deferred compensation, longevity, retiree health savings, better compensation for standby staff, bilingual pay, and more. All of them replied to as just a flat no. There was no back and forth. There were no counter proposals. These were reasonable benefit ideas to help bolster the City of Brentwood's benefit package. These are benefits that our comparable agencies provide their employees to retain current employees and for the future. These are things Brentwood needs to do for the employees present and future. So I'm asking you to please take these issues into consideration as you meet tonight in closed session. Thank you.
Sonia? Sonia?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, members, and staff. Last night, I attended the candidate forum at Bristow Middle School. As a longtime Brentwood resident and the vice president of BMOD, I care deeply about the future of our city, and I recognize the significant role the council plays in shaping the future. One question at the forum resonated deeply. At several city council meetings, city employees have used the public comment period to express their frustrations with not having a new employment contract and some aspects of city leadership. What would you do to rebuild trust and a cohesive and collaborative environment between the council and the employees? It's clear that there are underlying issues that need to be addressed. This was truly a missed opportunity. And it's unfortunate that Vice Mayor is not here this evening. In response, we heard mayoral candidate Gerald Johnson emphasize the importance of treating staff with respect and dignity. That's what good leaders do. He acknowledged that employees cannot perform at their best when under stress, and he assured us he would do his best to resolve the issues and do what's right. District 1 candidate Faye Maloney highlighted the need for a healthy work environment and prioritizing staff retention by ensuring that employees feel valued and heard. She stressed the importance of open dialogue and compensation that keeps up with our comparison cities. District 3 candidate Brian Oftedal pointed out that employees typically do not wish to address the council. We simply want to focus on delivering exceptional service to our community. As a public employee with over 34 years of experience across 3 cities, this is the first time I feel compelled to speak before my city council. I don't think that's something to be proud of. Brian understands our request for fair wages, benefits, and working conditions. He mentioned the ongoing discussions since January and expressed a commitment to rebuilding trust while maintaining fiscal responsibility. However, some candidates exhibited defensiveness during the forum. It was stated that we wouldn't have the opportunity to speak if not for Councilmember Mendoza, who has encouraged our participation. I appreciate her support, but it's important to remember that we have always had the right to voice our concerns as employees. The policy you keep referencing did not add anything new. The question was not about what happens behind closed doors, but rather about how to rebuild trust and create a collaborative environment. Months ago, my association reached out to the council to introduce themselves, but we received no acknowledgement. This lack of response does not foster a sense of being seen or valued. You mentioned that people scream and yell at you, and that there are falsehoods in the local press. I can assure you that the statements I made in the press were factual and reflect the challenges we face. I am a dedicated employee, not a politician, and I stand here to represent the voices of my colleagues. We are simply asking for competitive salaries and benefits that reflect the rising costs of living and healthcare. It's disheartening that some employees are forced to worry about their financial stability while striving to serve our community. We seek your support in resolving these issues. We don't want to be here any more than you want to see us. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Monica?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Once again, my name is Monica Raposa, and I'm a 20-year employee with the City of Brentwood, currently in Public Works. Being hired by the city was a lifeline during a major life change for me in 2004. Working at the city has been an honor and a privilege, and I've never taken that for granted. I was planning to read numerous compliments from Brentwood residents regarding Public Works, what they have received since our last contract, especially during the COVID shutdown. I changed my mind because I watched the council candidate forum last night on YouTube. The moderator asked the candidates in general, what would you do to rebuild the trust between city council employee and employees as they relate to labor negotiations? I was taken aback by Vice Mayor Meyer's responses to this question. While answering, she noted that during public comment, council is yelled at and people say bad things about them. Making this statement while answering a question regarding labor negotiations may give the wrong impression to those who haven't been listening to previous public comments by employees. This comment implies that city employees are doing the yelling and the name calling. We have been nothing but kind, courteous, and professional to council. She also stated, you're going to hear things about labor negotiations, but please don't listen to everything you read. Has there been misinformation published that we're unaware of? Anita Roberts implied that employees need to understand there's a process to negotiations and we need to be mindful of that process. Our employment in local government is built around nothing but processes and procedures. That is why so many do not pass probation, because our hands are literally tied. You cannot make a decision without council approval. My parents raised me and my 6 siblings to say your prayers, be truthful, respectful, respect your elders, and do the best damn job you know how to do. We are not asking for the world, just a little something extra to make our sacrifices for this city worthwhile. I can't speak for everyone at the city, but in Public Works, I work with some of the most truthful, respectful, and best damn workers I know. We are a major reason the city is the jewel of East County. Thank you.
Jennifer? Jennifer?
Good afternoon, mayors and city council. I am not excited to be here today. I talk to you often from the other side of the dais, but this here tonight is outside of my comfort zone. Tonight, I'm here as a Brentwood resident. I've owned a house here for over 10 years now. I got married here in town. My kids go to school here. Because of that, a few years ago, I chose to come to work here for what I thought would be a better quality of life. I actually took a pay cut to come work here for the city of Brentwood. I figured it would be hard on my family for a while. We may struggle, but we would get by. I didn't expect over these past few years that the cost of living would climb levels far exceeding any cost of living increases I was receiving. Groceries and childcare skyrocketed, making what was once a small decrease in pay a huge amount less in my pocket than once what was there. And now on top of that, the city's class and comp study is recommending that my position take an additional decrease of 5%, whether it be a Y or a Z rate, with COLAs that don't even come close to that. If I knew what I know now, it would be very difficult to justify coming here to work. Things are currently not better in Brentwood. It is not fun attending meetings where I openly get called, at worst, a racist, and at best, an elitist, where I am openly questioned in public if I ever went to planning school. Do you think this is how employees want and deserve to be treated? Not one of you up there has ever spoken against these actions. I have over 20 years of experience in planning. I have a degree in political science, a master's degree in public administration with emphasis in urban planning. I've managed 5 different housing elements for various cities, 4 starting from the start through certification. One of the areas that I pride myself in and excel at is understanding and navigating the quickly changing housing laws and legislation. In today's world, you practically need a law degree to navigate what is being thrown at my profession. Every single one of you up there has said at one point or another through election campaigns or on the dais that one of the most important things in our city is protecting the integrity of our general plan, our zoning, our small town community feel, protecting Brentwood's right to determine our fate and our future against impending and overreaching state legislators. If that is the case, why are you proposing over 5% change through this class and comp study with less than that in COLAs to those very same people who are working the front line to protect our city each and every day? This would kill almost all promotional aspirations of those below me from ever wanting to move up in this city. We currently have some of the smartest and brightest on our staff and still have 1 vacancy. How do you expect us to recruit for that vacancy? What type of candidate do you envision will want to apply to a position that is being proposed a 5% Y or Z rate with little COLA increases over the next 3 years? For the class and comp study, setting the bar at the median for the county average, really, is that what you expect in the type of employee that you want? I know it's not what you expect. Some of you have said that we don't know what's going on in closed session or that we should attend meetings. I attend every single meeting. And while I don't know every word behind what is said in closed session, I do know what is being offered that your representatives have provided to each and every one of our unions. You expect the very best from every single one of us here. Your words have said it over and over, yet your actions and what you have directed your representatives to work with in these negotiations do not reflect that same sentiment. Why is that? I unfortunately have grown accustomed to some of the disrespect and hurtful words. However, I am asking you tonight, please let your actions do something different for once. Thank you.
Nicole?
Good evening, members of the City Council. I'm speaking on behalf of my colleague who cannot be here tonight, but I share her sentiments and opinions. I am here today as a member of BMOD and as a dispatch supervisor to express some pressing concerns regarding our current situation. Today is October 15th, and as you know, our Memorandum of Understanding expired on June 30th, marking nearly 4 months without a contract. The classification and compensation study, originally scheduled for completion in January, is now 10 months overdue. This delay significantly impacts our employees and continues to hurt morale. Multiple employees showing to be reclassified into positions that don't make sense and salaries being Y-rated. We are seeing employees leaving more frequently, morale getting worse, more trainings being added to change employees' thought processes, and inflation continuing to rise. With the rise of inflation, the city makes more money. Why not leave behind a legacy that you fixed morale, that you offered a competitive salary to lower turnover and attract new people to make it better in Brentwood once again? Currently, our dispatchers are the lowest paid in Contra Costa County and among our comparable agencies. Dispatchers in Brentwood earn 11% below the current median salary, while dispatch supervisors are 12.5% below the current median. In May, the city presented findings from the compensation study based on salaries in February, revealing that even with proposed adjustments, dispatchers would still be 9.16% below the current median and dispatch supervisors 9.82% below. This raises the question, why isn't our dispatcher salary being adjusted closer to the current median? Furthermore, a cost of living adjustment of 3%, 4%, or even 5% will not address this salary discrepancy. Agencies such as Tracy and Antioch not only offer higher pay, but also provide more substantial incentives. For instance, Tracy provides 13.78% in incentives, including post-certificate pay, longevity pay, and uniform allowance, while Antioch offers 10.87% to include education pay, post-certificate pay, and uniform allowance. In contrast, Brentwood only offers 2.87% in incentives to include education pay and uniform allowance. Retention and recruitment have been challenging. The dispatchers who remain are committed to serving Brentwood and the police department and the citizens. However, if we are to attract and keep trained professionals, we must address this wage gap. Training a dispatcher takes 4 to 8 months for experienced hires and 8 to 12 months for entry-level hires. Currently, our dispatch staffing is at a critical 66%. This shortage leads to increased overtime, causing dispatchers to work overtime and putting a strain on our dispatch center. I urge you to take action to rectify this situation. I have submitted detailed information in public comments outlining these issues and encourage you to review the information provided. Let's work together to create a compensation package that will appeal to the talent that we have and the talent that is scarce in an extremely competitive labor market. Thank you for your attention to this vital matter.
Jaylene?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I too would like to address some of the comments made at last night's forum. I did not attend in person, however, I did watch it online. First off, how dare you sit up there and essentially call us liars and claim to have given us freedom of speech? It's disgusting, to say the least. Not one employee has been up here and lied or provided misleading information. We have always had the right to speak. Nothing new there. What is new is the fact that we never had to get up here and speak because we had a council that valued us. Also, who has yelled and screamed up here and called names? All employees have been respectful and have spoke with class. We are here meeting after meeting, sharing truth about what is happening in the employee world. Group leaders are speaking up because of what we are being told by the negotiations team representing the city. As a group leader who had spoken up, I found your comments, Vice Mayor, very offensive. Sounds like your negotiations team isn't being upfront with you guys or sharing all the information. You have all denied 17 proposals just from BMOD and have given the authority to the labor consultant that is overall less than we agreed to during COVID in good faith, where we were promised you would all do the right thing. We were told negotiations and class and comp were going to be separate. And then to our surprise, we had a proposal pushed across the table for equity adjustments during our negotiations meeting in May. Doesn't the city have ability to make one-time adjustments in equity for those needed without it being pushed through negotiations? Even Mr. Ramirez commented to us that this is not the normal process for a comp and class study to be in negotiations. All it did was muddy the waters and create an unfair negotiation. We are tired of hearing it's a strategic initiative by council. Guess what? It was done. It was done terribly. The consultant hired did not do a good job, and it didn't go as planned. Why are you all too stubborn to just say, oh, well, it didn't work out? Strategic initiatives don't always work out. Is it worth losing employees and creating all these morale issues and distrust amongst council, staff, and our city leaders? Bargaining units being forced to make decisions on classifications, job descriptions, and pay for individual positions? I didn't sign up for that. You guys in the city need to be making those decisions based on department needs and what each department head or manager needs from their staff. It shouldn't be forced on us. How is that fair? We didn't ask for a class and comp study. In fact, we're not sure why one was even needed. The old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You guys have all broke a perfectly running machine. And now you're trying to put it on us to fix. Did you know that the majority of staff who are affected negatively from the class and comp and BMOD, which is your largest association, are all classic employees with 14 to 35 years of experience? That's loyalty. Do you know you have employees hanging on threads, waiting and hoping for a change during this election season to decide whether or not they're going to stay working for the city of Brentwood? This is how bad you all have made it to work for the city. Yet you want to insinuate to the general public we are all lying and spreading misinformation. You should be disappointed in yourselves. You have misled and disregarded employees, and even worse, painted a false narrative about us to the public.
Daniel? Daniel? And the last speaker card I have is Amanda.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Daniel Lefting, and I've worked for and lived in the city of Brentwood for the last 5 years. I grew up near San Jose, where Mayor Chuck Reed destroyed the city with budget cuts. It's been over a decade, and the city is still trying to recover. A few months ago, Honorable Mayor Joel Bryant, you stated that you did not want Brentwood to fall into the same financial hardships as nearby cities. We all agreed with you on that. However, I believe that our current set of leadership is making their own mistakes. Our city's reputation has been damaged, and we've lost several good employees this last summer. For those employees, it is now better in Walnut Creek, it is better in Livermore, and it is better in Stockton. Until our trust in the current leadership can be repaired and regained, I no longer believe that is better in Brentwood. In any city, all responsibility for success and failure rests with its leaders. Leaders must own everything, and there is no one else to blame. Leaders must acknowledge mistakes, put their egos in check, and admit failures, and then take ownership of them. I ask all of you to take a step back and ask, why are you still here? Are you here to make Brentwood better? Do you still have our best interests in mind? The city of Brentwood is not a vessel for personal agendas. And we are not pawns for what feels like a game of power. The city of Brentwood deserves stronger and better leadership. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. I stand before you tonight as both a Brentwood resident and an employee. Nothing I have to say tonight is meant as a personal jab, but it's something that I feel like it needs to be spoken. When I moved to Brentwood 10 years ago, I was drawn to its beautiful parks, its vibrant local businesses, and community events. It was an affordable option for my family, and we were excited to grow here. My love for this community inspired me to return to a career in recreation, and I joined the city as an employee in 2019. Unfortunately, the cost of living no longer allows us to live. We're just surviving. Over the past 5 years in Contra Costa County, the cost of homes are up over 30%. Utilities and healthcare expenses have increased by 10 to 15%, and groceries 15 to 20%. City Council often sees employees presenting various topics at City Council meetings. You witness them serving our residents, whether it's maintaining streets, emptying trash cans, providing clean water, or ensuring public safety. But I think that there's a lot more that you don't get to see. Many employees spend more of their waking time here at work than they do with their families. Many employees work through holidays and overtime without additional pay. Many work in departments that offer little to no support to their staff. The morale at City Hall and other facilities is low, and staff often feel undervalued. Employees are worried about speaking up, and they should be. The city does not protect its employees. You may not see how deeply committed employees are to their work, striving to perform well while hoping to leave the stress that their job has behind them before they go home. There are employees facing mental health challenges, some stemming from their experiences working for the city. Many have left for better opportunities, often switching careers altogether, disillusioned by a lack of support and fair compensation. Some were worried about their current work climate and felt the need to retire early, and some who left knowing that even it would be a pay cut for hopes of a better work environment. Do you know how many people have left? According to HR Happenings, 14 people have left in the last 3.5 months. That's full-time staff with almost 100 years of combined institutional knowledge for the city of Brentwood. Wow. People are dedicating their lives to this city. We just want fair wages and benefits in return. I've had the pleasure of working with most of the departments and employees from most departments in this city, and what I see are dedicated employees who love their jobs and want to contribute to this community, their community. I love my career. I want nothing more to serve the underserved, bolster morale in our city and our community, and show up for our residents every single day. Our employees yearn for someone to truly listen and just show up for them. This is about fairness and ensuring that those who run the city, not just city council, are compensated equitably for their hard work. I urge you to make the right decisions for employees because that's the right decision for Brentwood. Without reliable, passionate, and hardworking employees, the city will falter. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm a last minute ad. I'm not comfortable at this. My name is Cedrice. I am a 17-year employee here, and I have had the honor to serve many of the departments here at the city. I want to talk about one of the reasons why we have asked for a class and comp study. Dating all the way back to 2008, when the recession hit, the city lost employees and didn't fill many vacancies. Due to that staffing shortage, remaining staff absorbed additional duties. We did so without an adjustment to our classifications or compensation. We were told taking on more would only be temporary, just long enough to help the city through the recession. That time came and went, but our absorbed duties remained on our desks and our compensation was never adjusted. Then COVID hit. We were once again asked to see the city through the tough times, and we did. Again, we absorbed more duties without appropriate compensation for those absorbed duties. We are doing more for less, and we have been since 2008. That's 16 years. The time has come for this council to help its employees. We are struggling. I'd like to ask those here, if your job was affected, as I've mentioned, would you please raise your hand? There's a reason why we are asking. There is a reason why we are showing up every day. And even though we are uncomfortable doing this, we are speaking to you publicly because we are desperate. We are struggling, and we still show up day after day and do our jobs along with the additional duties that we have taken on without being appropriately compensated for those additional duties. We need your help. We need you to see us.
I have no additional speaker cards.
Thank you. At this time, then, we will close public comments. I want to thank all of you for being here and speaking. I need a motion to recess to closed session.
So moved. Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
We are in recess. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just before we recess, did you want to note when any reportable actions might be shared?
Any reportable actions from closed session will be reported at the next regularly scheduled city council meeting. The council will adjourn from closed session so as not to interfere with the planning commission meeting tonight. Scheduled. Thank you.